Hello, welcome to day 2 of African History Month. It's February 2nd, and I'm glad to be able to continue this. Day 2, 2 for 2. So I'm going to jump right into it, expound a little bit on, the introduction and talk about the things I'll be discussing this month. And like I said, it's about practical application. So let me start with a couple of questions. One, do you know who the first African American in the major leagues of baseball was? Do you know who the first first African American heavyweight champion of boxing was? Do you know who the first African American in the NHL? First African American NASCAR driver. Well, if you watch the mainstream's coverage of or their offerings for Black History Month, these are some of the things that will be discussed and brought up and celebrated. It's not something I'm going to be dealing with in terms of that's trivia, not history. And even though it has its historical significance is of many of these accomplishments are known. There is knowledge that can be gained from it though, in terms of realizing how significant it is and what our focus as a community needs to be on. So just because you have a Black heavyweight champion, just because, Black Jack Johnson, was that 1920s, rises to the top of the boxing game. What did that do for the Black community as a whole, for Black people as a whole? What did that even do for him? Did he get him paid? Okay. Did it give him power? Did it give him the ability to do something with it? And this is the lesson to be learned from that. Instead of just trying to be a person who can get $1 million, sports deal. Okay, what are you doing with it? What power comes with that paycheck? Because there's not a real great deal of significance in having some, white supremacists who didn't like you, who didn't even want you to be in their league, just now saying, you know what? I don't mind letting you make me richer. That doesn't mean they like you. That doesn't mean they respect you. That means they see your value even if you don't. That means they view you as a commodity to get rich off. And that's what has unfortunately been the history of this country, of Black people being used as commodities, from plantation owners to business owners to, these mega corporations, these mega sports franchises who are getting rich off the labor of Black athletes. That's now it's Black athletes. Before it was just Black people as a whole, slaves, then to sharecroppers, but it's been the consistent theme is exploitation. That's what we need to be focused on. So instead of just, celebrating trivial accomplishments, which aren't really accomplishments when you break it down, granted, athletes today are actually paid for their work as opposed to, slaves who were not. So the benefit for them, they've got some benefit. They've gotten wealthy, but the overall benefit for the rest of the community is not there. And even that paycheck, even that money, if it's not used properly, it's like burning paper. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to be, and on this day in Black history, Michael Jordan scored this many points. What? I've actually seen black history trivia on that. No. Muhammad Ali, that's somebody to talk about because he's bigger than sports. He didn't just box. He realized that there were injustices occurring, and he refused to stand for injustices at the risk of his career, at the risk of being, fawned over by millions. He said, no, I'm standing on this. That's something to learn from. That's something to emulate. Because even right now, you can take a look at, there are black athletes who are being punished, vilified, and attacked because they're taking a stand on issues. And so we need to, one, realize the importance of taking stands on issues that are affecting our community. Two, realize the importance of supporting people who are taking stands on issues that are of great import to our community. And three, we need to stop being dependent upon other people for our livelihood. So that way they do not have the ability, the power to tell us what we can and cannot protest, what we can and cannot support, because that's the major lesson to learn. That's one of the major lessons to learn, that throughout all this time, when black people try to stand on an issue, money is threatened. But if we own our own corporations, if we own our own business, if we own our own sports franchises, if we own our own sports leagues, we don't have to worry about that. We will be able to stand and defend what is important to us without the fear of reprisal, without anybody else exercising control over our autonomy. That's key. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons to learn from looking at sports trivia to make it actually historically relevant. That's it for today, February 2nd, second day of African History Month. And I'll see you tomorrow.